Hey guys! Today I decided to film a tutorial on this look right here. This is a classic holiday look with a neutral kind of glam-ish eye and a Christmas red lip. I really don't have much to say about this look other than if you like it and you want to see more, then just keep on watching.
Okay, so we're going to start out by priming our face with the Milani Prime Shield face primer. Just going to dot that all over my face and rub it on in. Next, we are going to put on my foundation. I'm using the Maybelline Fit Me Matte Poreless foundation in the shade Classic Ivory. I just get a little bit on my fingers, put it on my face, and then using a damp beauty sponge, I'm going to pat all of this into my face. I like using the damp sponge when I really want my foundation to look really natural and really perfect. It really just gets it in your skin and helps it to look just like your skin, really. Next, I'm going to conceal using the Tarte Shape Tape concealer in the shade Light. Got my W on there. My wolf pack. Can we talk about the mid-season finale of The Walking Dead? Oh my goodness. Actually, I'm sure we can't. But anyway, got on my war paint. So using that same damp beauty sponge, I'm going to blend all this concealer. And then I'm going to set that concealer using the Laura Mercier Translucent Loose Setting Powder and that same damp sponge. And don't worry, I'm going back. I'm going to blend that stuff in. I'm not going to have those white marks under my eyes. And this really sets your concealer. It keeps it from creasing. And then I'm going to use the Morphe E3 brush just to kind of get a little bit of this translucent powder and set my whole face with that. Now, using the Jaclyn Hill palette by Morphe, I'm going to take that shade right there. It's called Silk Cream. And using a big fluffy brush, this is the Morphe M441 brush, I'm just going to apply that into my transition area. First using windshield wiper motions, back and forth windshield wiper motions, and then small circular motions to really blend all that out. And then I'm going to take the shades Butter and Pukey on that same big fluffy brush, and I'm going to apply that pretty much right on top of that transition shade that I first put in. I'm not going to take this as high as the transition shade that I started with, but I'm pretty much just putting it right there in that transition area. Now I'm taking the shade Buns on a slightly smaller brush. I'm using the Morphe M433 brush. It's still fluffy, it's still the natural hair, but it's just a little more precise. And I'm going to put this right into my crease and onto the outer corner of my lid just a little bit, just to darken up that outside and darken up my crease just a little bit. I'm being a little bit more precise with this one. I'm stamping it in and then very lightly blending it in. Now I'm grabbing the shade Central Park. It's just a very, very dark brown color. I wanted to darken up my outer corners a bit, so I'm taking the M321 brush by Morphe and just precisely placing that right in my outer corner just to give more dimension back out there to that outer corner. I used to be really afraid of the dark shades like that, but now I'm learning that it really helps bring your look together when you use a nice dark shade in the outer corner. Now I'm taking the M433 brush that I used before, and I'm just blending out that darker color. We don't want any harsh lines at all. Now I'm taking the shades Obsessed and SBN. They're nice shimmery shades in that Jaclyn Hill palette. And I'm going to spritz some setting spray onto my brush just to wetten the brush a little bit so these colors really pop when I put them on my eyelid. And just using any old eyeshadow lid brush, I'm just patting those shades onto the inner part of my lid and blending it out just a little bit to meet that darker shade. And once again, going back in and blending out up in that crease so we don't have a harsh line where we put in those shimmery shades. Now I'm taking the shade Abyss, which is just a true black matte color, and I'm using a flat definer brush. This is the Morphe M432. And I'm just putting it right on my lower lash line, acting almost like an eyeliner, but softer. And then taking a teeny tiny little pencil brush, this is the E36 by Morphe. I'm just going to buff it out in that outer corner, bringing it up a little bit to blend in with that darker color, just so we don't have as harsh of a line. I want this really blended and soft. This just brings a little bit more dimension to your eye, brings out your lash line a bit, but without being as harsh as a wet liner. Now, I was out of frame, so I just cut it out, but I used Abyss on that flat definer brush and just stamped it right on the outer part of my lower lash line. And now with the pencil brush, the Morphe E18, I'm taking Butter and Pukey and blending out my lower lash line. Now I'm taking the shade In Light as my highlight shade. I'm going to use that on my inner corner and also right on my brow bone to highlight. For lashes, I'm going in with my tried and true, my ride or die. This is the L'Oreal Voluminous Carbon Black Mascara. I'm just curling my lashes and slapping on a coat of that, baby. To finish the face, I'm going to use the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Contour Palette in the shade Light, and using a Morphe M523 brush, I'm just going to contour just a little bit, nothing too harsh, just a little something to bring more definition to my cheeks. Now I'm going in with the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer in the shade Light Bronzer on a big fluffy brush. This is the Morphe M527, and I'm going to put that on my cheeks, on the sides of my forehead, just avoiding the middle part of my forehead, the middle part of my face. And I'm just using this just to warm up the color of my skin. For blush, I'm using the Milani Baked Blush in the shade Luminoso. This is such a gorgeous color, and it's beautiful on all skin tones. I really recommend going out to the drugstore and picking up some of this. Using a Morphe E4 brush. This is my favorite brush for blush. Whew, say that 10 times. I'm just sweeping this on my cheekbones. For highlight, I'm using the BeccaXJaclyn Hill Champagne Face Palette. This is a Jaclyn Hill and Morphe kind of day, I think. Except this is Becca. But I'm using the shade Champagne Pop and just placing that right on the high points of my cheekbones. I couldn't find my normal highlighting brush, so I just picked up any old thing. I'm highlighting the tip of my nose and my Cupid's bow as well. Finally, for lips, we're using the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte Gloss in the shade Shanghai Scarlet. This is probably my third time using this gloss, and I really do like it. It lasts a long time, but I just can't get over the applicator. It's chiseled, it's pointed, it's kind of like a weird spatula. Now I'm setting my brows, which I had done earlier off camera, just using the Anastasia Beverly Hills brow gel, clear brow gel. And finally, I'm going to set my face using the Loreal Makeup Extender setting spray. And once I get all that dry, we're done.
Here's the finished look, and don't forget to subscribe. If you liked this video, give it a big thumbs up, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye-bye. I'm just gonna pretend like I don't have scoliosis. So, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up.